Welcome to the Wisdom and Wealth Lead the Journey experience with myself. I'm Anna Berkelmans, and I'm here excited to be here today with Megan Macdonald, an absolute asset to our community, as Megan has introduced us to the great modality of urine therapy. And Megan came on board over a year ago now. Megan can introduce herself and correct me on that, but I think it's at least been a year, if not more, and has been a great asset to our community by bringing in a lot of her modality training to help us really dive deep into the urine therapy world. And Megan also has a great ability with a modality called Dahlia Method, which she will introduce us to, doing profound work on that unconscious beliefs and the shadow and the ego. And I've had the benefit of experiencing some of her magic facilitation of that. And it really isn't what we're seeing with Megan coming in to integrate the yoga health coaching business model is being better able to position herself in the marketplace to help people improve sleep, digestion, develop healthy habits, promote well-being. My favorite, how she raises consciousness. And it's fascinating for those of you who are new to urine therapy to hear Megan's perspective on that. So, but also coming from a background of organizing and delivering national high-profile events and ceremonies for the government of Canada, and has a well-developed knowledge of social ritual. And I'm so glad that you're bringing that to the wellness world, Megan, and I'm so glad to have you as part of our community. So congratulations on this award of Coach of the Month, and I'm going to hand it over to you to just tell us a little bit about yourself and what your experience is in having the opportunity to reflect on your yoga healer journey and this great honor of Coach of the Month.
Thank you, Anna. It is a real honor because this community of people is such high caliber. And when your colleagues put you forward for one of these things, it really feels lovely to have that respect. And so I'm really grateful for that as well, to be in the community and feel seen by the community. You mentioned a couple of things there that sometimes we look at our past and at the time we don't know why we're doing them. And then later we start to see the map and the picture. And so when I was working for the government and then doing a lot of event management, and I did theater background, stuff like that too, I always enjoyed it, but I wasn't thinking about it at night when I went home. You know, it wasn't like, how can I dream about this further? But now when I look back, the skills that I developed in terms of knowing how to run spreadsheets and knowing how to double check things so that you make sure that things aren't going wrong. Because when I was working on events, they'd be nationally televised. So it'd be obvious if something went wrong. And that's not the thing I have to worry about today. Right? Like there's other challenges for me in terms of learning how to do marketing or learning how to structure email sequences or things like that for business purposes. But in terms of how to keep myself organized in other ways, that's stuff I learned through the other jobs I did. So I think all of us if we can really mine what we've done before, then that really helps us springboard forward when we come into the thing that we do think about at night, that we do dream about, that we do want to take further and share into the world.
Yeah. And you're such a humble person, Megan. Like, we really believe in you. Like, we are your biggest fans, and the people who are finding you and are getting on board with your transformational journey are so lucky to have you. Can you tell us a little bit about how you're going with the packaging and the pricing and the results that you're seeing in the journey?
So I just started my first 12-week journey. We're on week 3. And I did 2 courses that were just urine therapy courses first. And now I'm incorporating more of the modalities. I'm using the habits from Body Thrive as well. And because this is a first run, I am doing it at a discounted price, but I'm also incorporating the people who started with me who wanted to learn more about urine therapy, because they're real assets to my group and to my learning about what is going on. So keeping those first people with me, as long as they want to keep coming back, that is really helping me to grow because I see their growth and then I know what's working. So,
And I love that the onboarding experience is really fresh. So how do you feel having launched this? Are you doing full cycle around the sun?
I'm just doing 12 at the moment.
12 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
I do have in my head the full year program, but everyone at this point just agreed to the 12 weeks. And it actually, one of the things that happened was that because I joined this program in May of 2021, and so by the middle of May of 2022, I had announced I was doing my pilot, and there was my first 12 weeks, and that and it just suddenly I went, oh, I'm doing it. I'm doing it. This thing that I've been talking about for the last year is happening. And there was a relief, I suppose. There was a relaxation, but there was also the excitement of, oh, okay, that's it. And to some extent, you just have to pick a date and do it. And it's not that there isn't a lot of organizing that goes before that, but in the end, that's really all that ended up happening. And I actually had some encouragement from another one of the yoga health coaches who just said, why don't you just do it now? Because I was talking about all these different dates. And she said, why not now? And I didn't have an answer for why not.
Well, if the people are looking and are ready and they're early adopters, so really what you're doing now is what, a second or third pilot?
Yeah, it's kind of like a third pilot, but it's the long version.
Yeah. And what tools and strategies have you picked up from our community, our guidance, that have allowed you to go on to, be where you're at today with your group?
I think a lot of it was the confidence in coaching. So like, how do you coach someone who is coming, and how do you stay focused on what it is that they're looking for? And for me as well, part of what I had, because I've taught at universities as well. So like coming up with a syllabus of information that covers 6 weeks or 8 weeks or 10 weeks, like that in and of itself, that wasn't intimidating for me. People who teach at university are sort of geeky about syllabus work. It's like, ooh, I get to like, there are all these things I can put in it. So this was sort of like building a syllabus. And what it did, I get in that sense, it let me incorporate the thing that was the most edgy, which is the urine therapy, because that's the taboo. That's the social thing that is really hard to say out loud in public, and still is. And I like to take my time, and I like to see people, and I like people to get to know me first before I suddenly launch into talking about urine. And so it's not something that it's not something that I am advertising publicly on every platform. And so that is, if there is still something that is different for me, is that all of my other colleagues can put out to their entire social media group, their friends, their family, former colleagues, doesn't matter. They can advertise that they're offering a course or a weekend workshop. And I have not gotten to the point where I feel comfortable doing that yet. And I hope I will. I hope that urine becomes something I can say out loud to anybody. But at the moment, I am advertising it or marketing it to people who are either part of the urine therapy world or know me.
Yeah.
In some
what
way.
about, because in any customer journey, there is that attract and excite phase. You've got a lot of potential there with the Dahlia Method. Like, that work is so, and so urine therapy is just a tool, right? It's just a tool in the toolbox, and it's optional, so that, as people come in and you help them uncover what type of needs are you uncovering, who's attracted to working with you, and what problems do you really like to solve?
Oh, that's a good one. The people who come to me so far, they are into that connection of the practical tool that is going to show tangible results in the spiritual, the emotional, the mental, and the physical. And so sometimes at the beginning of a health journey, we say, I just want to wake up and not be sore, or I want my rash to go away. We want just this one thing is like, that's what I want to be able to do. But the people that I'm working with at the moment, they want to understand how the way that they're feeling is linked with what they're eating, is linked with what they're going through emotionally, is linked with their spiritual journey. They want to see the whole connection. And that's where the Dahlia Method really comes in, because you start to understand that when frustration comes up in your life, there is a reason behind it that's deeper. Or if you have somebody bumps into you and you end up falling down on the pavement and knocking your knee, there's a lesson for you in there somewhere, because what are the emotions that come up for you when that happens? What is the fear that comes up in you when you think, I'm falling, am I going to hurt myself? And it seems so simple. You just knocked yourself on the pavement. We've done that our whole lives since we learned how to walk. But with the bigger perspective of going, if I feel that feeling and it's a pattern in my body, and I've felt it before and it's coming up again, what is it trying to teach me about my relationship to this in my body? What's the deeper perspective? And that, when you start unlocking that, then you start to see what you brought with you in this lifetime, who you really are as a soul, what your gifts are. I'm using this idea of knocking your knee as an example, but it can be that simple sometimes, that to unlock how frustration works in our body, that can free us up. And then talk about easeful living. If we're going to get there, we have to have those moments of understanding every single pattern that has been unconscious in our system.
Yeah, that's absolutely fantastic. So for the listeners, what would you say? I mean, clearly you've got a great natural ability and a gift as a healer, and this journey is quite exceptional. And I can attest to that. You know, it's something that, you know, really it takes you to a new level of capacity as somebody, as on a self-healer journey. So in terms of marketing and sales, like, what are your biggest takeaways from your yoga health coaching journey in order to really be able to guide people over the threshold into the journey? Like, obviously it can start with a specific process of uncovering their needs, and how have you been able to change the way that you offer yourself as a solution at that very fundamental level at the beginning of the journey?
Oh, just this week, I was doing a yoga event at a festival where I live. There was a yoga festival and I taught a course. And right at the end, I just threw out, the musician who was with me doing live music at the yoga event. So, he introduced his other things that he presents every month or every few months. And I said, oh, and I also offer courses and I help people reduce inflammation. And that's all I really had time to say, because we were closing it down.
Perfect.
But two people came up after and went, what do you mean by that?
Great.
And
you caught their attention. And that is key for those listening as a wellness pro. Notice it's simple. So I hope you wrote that down, and you just reiterate that everywhere you go. Here's who I am. This is what I do. And well, actually, you didn't even say who you are, because, that honestly, by just saying, I help people reduce inflammation, bam, that caught their attention. And now that you've got their attention, you have the opportunity to be of service to them by helping them make a decision about coming and learning more, and maybe making a decision to come and work with you.
Yeah.
Isn't that brilliant?
We had a great discussion. It was very short because it was after everyone was packing up their stuff, but I was able to say really quickly, my next course is in September. It's 12 weeks. It's online. They happen to live here. So if I have enough people who live where I live, we can do something. But most of the people that I work with are not in my geographical area, because I live on an island. So it makes it more specific.
Yeah. Prince Edward Island, a beautiful part of the world. Yeah.
So I always have a few people, but that was the piece that was so great, was that it really was the simple message.
Yeah.
And now after that, I can say the habits, the Dahlia Method, whether we go into the urine therapy right away or not, but those do all reduce inflammation. Yeah. So let's talk about how we're going to start.
Yeah. What are you noticing in the first 3 weeks of your current pilot? Like, what are the fast the quick and dirty results that you're seeing, and what's the potential you're seeing for a longer journey?
So part of how I'm working with it right now is that people who've never worked with the habits already, they're asking the right questions. And I'm seeing the people who have worked with the habits before giving their input, their feedback, what has worked for them. And I'm seeing the group talking to each other, which is exactly what you want to have happen, so that it's not always me saying things. So the group is talking. That's one of the first things, is they're supporting each other. They're asking the right questions. They're inspired by seeing the other people say, yeah, that really works for me. It's worth it to try to have an earlier, lighter dinner. It's going to make a difference. And I'm seeing them start to make the deeper connection, even though you think by week 3, what's going on. But part of that is also trusting, when you come back to who we each are as an individual, that we, no matter where we take the material from, we're going to put our own stamp on it. So the way that I'm bringing it together with what I'm interested in. So if I read something this week and I have aha moments, then I say, here's this article that I read this week. I'm bringing it to this week's topic. Yeah. And then when I make the connections, then they get excited too.
That's fantastic. And congratulations on activating a dynamic group. It's a skill. And where you have arrived today has been a culmination, no doubt, of probably you being part of the community and being part of a group that was activated back in May 2021. And now you get to enjoy the fruits, that reward to bring the essence and find your voice and share from your experience.
Oh, yes. Absolutely. And this community helped me do that by letting me also be someone who, if you want to step up and start talking and start leading and being someone who contributes, then everyone else will give you space to do that.
Yeah.
So you get to practice.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, tell us about your biggest challenge, either before you came to AUC or throughout, or even now. What are the biggest challenges that you have?
One challenge that is definitely on my mind this past week is the sense, even just following through on things, it's like you always feel like you're missing something. You just do. And so there's that mix of knowing that you have to review things and also going, this has to be enough, and not beating yourself up either. So you will review it and you will go over some things later and you'll refine it and change it and shift it. But also it has to be enough. You can't be perfect. And one of the things that again, if you trust how things are unfolding, it will happen. Like over a year ago, or no, just about a year ago, I got funding from a local business association. So always look at your local things and where you can get funding to help with my website. And even then, I'd gotten funding the year before to help with my website, and everything seemed to be creeping and creeping and creeping. And I was going, why is this taking so long? And I felt really critical of my own ability to have this website. And then because of the way my courses have come together, it was actually really good that it creeped along, because if I'd finalized everything 9 months ago, I wouldn't still have that funding money paying to finish the last pieces as I have the course now underway and I need things tweaked.
Yeah.
So just even there and just letting go of it has to be this way and it has to be perfect. Because I had no idea a year ago that I would need a website that has the functions I need now to run the course that I'm running.
Thank you so much for putting your faith into the yoga healer pathway and sharing that with us just now, that beautiful ability to trust. And also what I'm hearing you saying is momentum is superior to, perfection.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yes. I love that. What would be, in closing, what would be anybody who is interested in finding out more about yoga health coaching, or perhaps has taken a look and is sitting on the fence for embarking upon that training themselves, what words of wisdom would you give to somebody in that position?
There are moments in life where you feel like the universe tricked you in a way. and said, you think you're going to get this, and then when you look back, you got something different, but you're really happy it worked out that way. And if you can feel like that's what you've got going on inside when you think about joining this, because it's a big commitment, because this is a 2-year commitment and it is a lot to take in, there's that mix of joy and excitement and apprehension. And also, what is it that you want to be free to do? Because this isn't a journey that just cookie cutter punches you through the other side. You can make it what you want. And it is a lot of work, because anything worth having is a lot of work. But it's that feeling. I think that's what I would say. Do you have that feeling inside that you've had before when the universe gave you something that was actually really exciting? And see if you can trust that.
Beautiful. And I just really want to thank you, Megan, for you are humble, you are so generous. I have had the pleasure of just experiencing your generosity in the way that you listen, the way that you provide feedback, the way that you are a wealth of wisdom and have dedicated so much of yourself to the healing space, and that you're so willing to share that in a way that, I mean, I hope your followers are listening to this, because I hazard a guess they already know, but I just want to say how fortunate they are to have such an amazing leader, where you create such a ripe space for growth, because there's no, you just have this immediate ability to put people at ease and allow them to do that deeper work beyond the superficial level. So congratulations. And on behalf of our community and Kate, a big thank you for your contribution to the knowledge base of your own therapy and getting that out into the world. You are truly a pioneer, and obviously with respect to your teachers and your guides, who thank you for investing in yourself and bringing their legacy forward. And I'm so excited for you to now, you know, cut the umbilical cords, if you like, as an analogy, and stand in your greatness and your presence as a leader, and your community will be a true testament to that.
Oh, thank you so much, Anna. So
you are so welcome. Thank you for sharing, and yeah, good luck with this next chapter. Good luck with the pilot, and I will no doubt do a follow-up interview to share in the success.
Ah, fabulous. Yes, springboarding into the next thing. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right.